President Trump is going to meet with top business leaders and Wall Street executives today as he tries to calm people down about the economy.
Yep. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy joins us with details. Peter, not a great day at Wall Street yesterday.
No, terrible day on Wall Street yesterday. And when you look at this big picture, President Trump has much, much better job security as somebody that never needs to run for re-election again than these CEOs have, because they have to answer to shareholders and to boards. And so later on today, coming for some reassurances, are the leaders of IBM and HP and Intel and Qualcomm. And so far, Republicans in Congress are overwhelmingly on board with the president's tariff strategy. And for the most part, business leaders who knew this was going to be happening, at least the tariff part, because President Trump said it was, have been with them too. When you look at this post-inauguration day conference board measure of CEO confidence, it found 44% of CEOs said economic conditions were better than 6 months ago. That's up 20%. 52% of CEOs expected conditions in their own industries to improve over the next 6 months. That's up from 31% in Q4 last year. And 71% of CEOs are planning to raise wages by 3% or more over the course of the next year. That is up from 63% at the end of last year. President Trump has talked a lot about how he knows that his tariffs are going to cause a disruption. The thing that traders and economists are looking for now is whether or not it will also cause a recession. Back to you.
And Peter, that is the worry. Given the fact that the Wall Street, the Dow went down about 1,000 points yesterday, is the White House, are they talking to you guys and saying, okay, people need to stop fixating on that number and they need to think about the big picture? Because we've heard Elon Musk and the president both say, okay, there's going to be disruption, as you mentioned a moment ago, but long term, we're all going to be okay. It's just the short term pain that is hurting people.
Yes, and what they're telling us at the White House is once President Trump can start drilling or, get authorization to start drilling and creating more energy here in the United States and raising revenue from some of these tariffs and saving money with the DOGE effort, all those three things would be a boom for the economy. But all of those three things still have not happened yet. And they're counting on all those things happening together, which if they get their way, they have unified control of the government. No reason to think that these things can't happen, but they just are not happening right now, and that's why you are seeing nervousness on Wall Street.
Right, and of course we got legislation, massive, one beautiful bill or two beautiful bills. Something's coming down the pike. Thanks so much, Peter.
You so much.
So you can't really say the president's stamp is on the economy yet. It's all projections about what his policies will do.
Yeah, he says he wants to bring jobs back. He wants to correct the unbalanced trade relations and stop the flow of illegal narcotics. The question is, he says it's gonna cause some short-term pain. How long will America, or especially these companies and people who have stocks, how long until we see it?
How far does
I go to that number that Peter cited in his report, the 71% of those CEOs that said they plan on raising the wages by 3%. 3% for average people is a lot of money.
Sure.
And to get 71% to say that they plan on doing it, plus 44% say the economy will be better in 6 months.
Right.
Okay.
The market may be reacting this way, but the people that are hiring people on a day-to-day basis, they seem to be a little bit more optimistic.
Sure. That poll that you and Peter both quoted was taken of CEOs on Inauguration Day. And now you fast forward 50-some odd days. And this is the hard part, ultimately, because, I'm sure the president and his people who have been talking to him about tariffs will go, okay, in the beginning, it's going to be rough sledding. And it is. It's just listen to the president. If you voted for him and you trust him, he says it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Ultimately, regarding the tariffs, as soon as somebody pays something, he's going to make money that
I heard the dad tell his little girl, he said, is it made in America? If it's made in America, I'll buy it for you. Right. So I talked to him about it, and he said their family, anything they buy has to be made in America, and he's teaching his kids this.
Right, which is great. And the thing is, there's two things happening. He's trying to privatize the workforce. The federal government got way too big, 2.7 million workers. You're seeing it being cut back in real time. And the other thing is he's incentivizing businesses to build their products here, whether it's Honda or a chips factory in Taiwan, build it here. This is, in the meantime, there's going to be a little bit of a correction rebuilt. And Charles Payne is one of the many people that most of the country respects that said this is not a big deal. And already you could see the market is up. The futures were up 132 points. Meanwhile, when you talk about the direction of Democrats who want to spend most of their time complaining about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they really have no direction. Their biggest focus has been, I'm not Donald Trump is a terrible person. Well, that ship is not sailing anymore. And now they need somebody to lead, and they need a mission statement. Here's CNN senior analyst Ron Brownstein, says he's never seen it so bad.
If you talk to Democrats, they recognize they are in a hole. I mean, the image of the party is probably in a weaker position than at any point since, I think, the 1980s, the Reagan and George H.W. Bush era. But if you ask Democrats how they think they are going to come back, there is a debate about, within the party, do you fight on every front or do you focus on the economic issues? And I think most Democrats believe their best chance of kind of getting a second look from the public in 2025 is this debate over the budget.
This is the part that I don't get. You hear the Democrats, apparently privately, they've been saying, we need to turn this ship around. We're in a bad position. You hear the analysts say the same thing. But they don't want to abandon any of their old thinking that lost them the last election. You have to leave that behind you. You tried it. The American public gave you 4 years to test all your crazy radical beliefs. They rejected it, so you regroup. It seems to be the debate is not about if things need to be better, but should we leave the stuff behind or should we double down? And it looks right now they want to double down.
Well, it used to be that the Democratic Party was so united, but we saw many of them not standing and, holding up the paddles for the speech last week, and the leadership in the Democratic Party told them, don't do that. They didn't listen. And Bernie Sanders is now on this tour. What is it called? It's called the Oligarchy Tour. And now AOC is saying she's going to join him on the road. They're taking Democratic resistance on the road, she says. She's going to appear in GOP-held congressional districts in Pennsylvania and New York in the coming weeks.
Good luck with that. She says this. Ocasio-Cortez, a longtime Sanders ally, said she would join him on the road. She's also planning appearances in Republican-held Republican districts in Pennsylvania, New York, and perhaps other places where Republicans have declined to hold in-person town halls where they might face protests. What's happened is a lot of the Republicans have said, and some of the leadership has coached them, don't go to town halls. Right. It's going to be a photo op for the opposition. And as Rich McCormick would say, the congressman from Georgia, he said, look, I had a town hall. 2/3 of them were not even my district. Right. They showed up, just started screaming at him. Right. Because, there are some people that got upset. There were some veterans that have been let go, but it's not emblematic of his district. So that is the type of, those are the type of interactions that these AstroTurf interactions, these fake interactions, that they think could be a firestorm. So they're saying, listen, use your judgment. If you feel as though you're going to be targeted by Democratic groups, super PACs, don't hold them. Do Zoom calls.
So let's see what they do, because people do have questions about things, and they want to do some explaining, but right now it's just it's a complicated time.